Welcome to Buckets, coming to you as always from the Tommy John Home Studios. My name is Matt Moore. I'm the senior NBA writer for the Action Network. I'm joined by J Money. He's on Twitter, on YouTube at JMoneyIsMoney. This is your best bets episode for Tuesday, January 14th in the association. We'll give you best bets, break it all down in detail, give you everything that you need to know to bet all the games in the association. Got a great slate. I am overloaded because I found a bunch of edges that I wanted to play. It's been like I've been kind of pickier and been like, I'll play like a quarter of a unit. And this is I'm excited for these. We'll get into it with Jay. Lots to get into tonight. As a reminder, everything we talk about can be found in the award-winning Action Network app. You can get cool stuff in there, like the favorites goes live every Sunday to recap the action. So after the divisional round, you can catch Simon and Chad breaking down those games. Our shows are in there as well. All of our great shows are in there, as well as on the YouTube page. Go to youtube.com/the Action Network. You can catch stuff. If you've not been, Brandon Anderson is like the most fun follow right now because he's just going nuts with wild plays right now. And like it's Brandon, so they're overthought within an inch of their lives, but they're also really fun to bet. So make sure to go check those out as well. You can get the Sunday Six Pack with Raybon and Stuckey, all sorts of great stuff across the Action Network universe. All right. Before we do best bets, Jay, I do want to ask you real quick about this. So we were talking last night on Future Jays about the Celtics and the Eastern Conference, and we were kind of looking at a number of things about how the bracket might shake out. And I said that I can't get the number on them right now. I'm going to wait. But if the bracket were in March or late March or April, what it is right now, I want a Celtics ticket because you would get Cavs, Magic, and Bucks on one side of the bracket. And that to me works out very well for Boston. Boston's lost a bunch of these games at home, and everyone's kind of arguing, like the Celtics fans are like, they're just coasting. They're just coasting. They're just coasting. And if you look underneath it, and as somebody that covered the defending NBA champions last season and saw how there were problems that everyone dismissed as, they're just coasting. I'm like, no, like some of this is coasting. Some of this you actually have problems. You're not as good on defense. You're still good, but you're not as good on defense. They're relying even more on the math stuff, just wanting to beat everybody with threes. They've lost that balance where it's like, all right, the threes aren't hitting, but we're playing elite defense. Now it's like, well, our threes aren't hitting. We're playing pretty good defense. Oh no, we lost again at home. Got by the Pelicans by 1 point on Sunday. Where are you on coasting, not coasting, the Celtics being underrated? You loved them last year. Thought they were far and away ahead of everybody else. You turned out right, regardless of how they got there. What's your feeling on the Celtics this year?
Well, I still think they're coasting. There's no question about it. Now, can they be better, or will we see them play better basketball? I definitely think it's going to come. Like, they know, man. You look at even with them coasting, you still look at their record. It's crazy, right? So I know that some of these games have been closer than it should have been. They definitely should have lost versus the Pelicans. But I think when you start to get closer to playoff time, that's when you'll see Mazzulla like, all right, guys, come on, let's lock in. And one thing different about most past champions, they have the same team. So these are still the same guys that are there. They still have the best starting five in the NBA. They're just they know that they're not really trying to risk injury. That's why, you risk injury mainly coming on defense. So they know they're kind of just going out playing. I mean, if they lose a few games, who cares? They'll start ratcheting things up when it gets closer to the playoffs. Now, is it going to matter? Are they going to go back to back? Do they have enough for that? Who knows? Because obviously the Eastern Conference has gotten a lot better as well. But I still think when it's all said and done, I'm not sure who I would take over the Celtics right now. I'm going to have to wait a little bit closer today before I try to make like some future bets or something like that, or playoff bets or championship bets, or even to win the East. But right now, I still think the Celtics are the class of the East, and with them having this record, which just kind of BSing around, still shows you that they could just beat you in a multitude type of ways, man. So you still have Tatum, a much better Tatum as well. Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday. You got Porzingis, as long as he doesn't get hurt. Pritchard is taking a different level. So this is still one of the best defensive teams in the league. They just don't care right now. It's that simple.
Yeah, I see a lot of slippage with Drew. That's another thing I'm really concerned about. But we'll see how it happens. Maybe we'll get to March and I'll be like, nope, I was wrong. The Celtics are totally fine. They're going to win everything. They're just going to sweep and everything is great in Celtics land. I'm not sold now, but I will say the bracket could very well break right for them and it not matter. All right, let's do some best bets for Tuesday in the association. Do want to let you know, of course, that we mentioned at the top of the show that we're coming to you from the Tommy John Home Studios. That's because great games start with great underwear. And Tommy John makes the greatest. When you're truly comfortable, you do everything better, and that includes betting. Today I had on they've got like this really great pair of pants where they're not quite pajamas. It's enough for you to be like, oh, I can work out in these. Like I worked out in them as well as the Tommy John's t-shirt. It was such a great workout gear. Like it was loose enough. I was totally comfortable. It was absolutely amazing. Great stuff to wear. They're also perfect. The t-shirts are great to go under hoodies where it's going to keep you warm, but it's breathable. It's awesome. This stuff is so good. I know this is a sponsored segment, but just gotta let you know, like we really do genuinely, all of our guys here at Buckets are just like, God, this Tommy John stuff is awesome. Like it really is truly that good. If you love the Buckets podcast and you love this crew, you're going to love Tommy John. Get 25% off your first order right now at TommyJohn.com/buckets. You can save 25% at TommyJohn.com/buckets. All right, Jay. As always, you only got one play for me because you're a miser. You're miserly. You're stingy. What's your one play for Tuesday in the association?
Well, it may be one play, but it's my best play, and I think sometimes people would rather that. So I'm going to go with the Mavs in the first quarter. Official line isn't out yet, but I'll probably end up on them on the money line. So as long as we're going to be getting the plus price, as long as they're underdog here, with getting +1, +0.5, want to take the money line, I think the Mavs will have the lead at the end of the first quarter.
All right, I like this a lot. The Nuggets have actually been really terrible in terms of the overall starting unit. Like, it's bizarre. The Nuggets are basically doing the same thing every single game and driving their fans insane, where it's like they go down by double digits. It gets worse in the non-Jokic minutes. They make it a little bit more competitive usually to end the half, but it's like, man, this team is just bad. And then the second half comes, and they somehow pull a comeback out. They didn't even play well in the third quarter yesterday versus the Mavericks, but they somehow found a way to get back. Jamal Murray and DeAndre Jordan led the charge in the fourth quarter and got the comeback over the Mavericks. But this is a comeback win. So I've got a best bet on Mavericks plus 170 in the market for them to 175. You can find that over at Bet365. This has already started moving. It was, I believe, it opened 5.5 in the as far as the spread. It's down to 4.5 as we're recording this. I'm gonna like this to whatever. Like, I don't foresee this slipping past 0. Kyrie's likely gonna play. He got upgraded today. I think tomorrow he's listed questionable and he winds up playing, which good for him for coming back from that kind of lumbar, a herniated disc in his back, for doing the work to get back in. But that's been Kyrie in Dallas. He's really putting in the work. If this was, I don't understand how this line can be what it was. Both games are in Dallas, right? So if the game the other day in Dallas, which the Nuggets did win, and I get that, but if the game the other day was Nuggets minus 5.5 and Kyrie's back, how is this 5.5 at the open? And the answer is probably like, well, they didn't think Kyrie was going to play, or they went halfway, like an adjustment for the Nuggets won the first game, but then back a little bit on Kyrie and to settle to the same number. It's now 4.5. I still don't get it. And even if Kyrie wasn't playing, I was going to like the spot anyway. If you want the spread here, teams who win the first matchup in these duplex spots, you're on the road, you're going to play a team twice. Same building. Teams on the road who win the first matchup are 5-14 against the spread since the start of last season. So this is 5.5. Kyrie's been upgraded. You're absolutely right that the Nuggets are terrible in that first quarter. I think the Mavericks are going to jump on them. I don't think they let up this time, and I think they've got enough to get the win in a bounce back revenge spot for the Dallas Mavericks, Jay.
Yeah, this is revenge game, Jay spot here. But first, I just want to say shout out to Kyrie Irving, man. Like you said, put the work in. He's playing as many games as possible. All the people that had bad stuff to say about him, they don't really have anything bad to say about him now. He's showing up for games. He's carrying the team. I think he's the most important player on the Dallas Mavs. Maybe not the most valuable player, but definitely the most important player. He can carry the team even when Luka's out. He hasn't had any extracurricular activities. So shout out to Kyrie Irving for winning people back over, which contributes to them not talking about him in the media. But for this game, man, they outscored them 32-17 in the first quarter without their guys, right? So obviously the Nuggets had to outscore them 33 to 12 in the fourth quarter to come back and win that one and cover as well. So if you had Nuggets, I know you were pretty giddy about that one. But let's look at the Nuggets on the road, man. This team is the second worst team in the NBA against the spread on the road. It speaks to what this is in the first quarter. Speaks to what Matt's saying. They're just not coming out with energy. They like to do it over the course of the full game, which usually the better team wins over the full 48 minutes. But Mavs here at the house coming off this is in a quick revenge spot versus the Nuggets. They know that they need to gain ground in the West. I like your play on the money line. This is a very winnable game for the Mavs here. Definitely think Kyrie comes back. This line probably closes somewhere around -3 for the Nuggets here, but the Nuggets 6-13 against the spread in the first quarter on the road. Like I said, that's second worst in the NBA, only worse than the Knicks. I expect the Mavs to come out, maybe not get a 15-point lead, but I definitely expect them to come out here and get a lead after the first quarter. So I'll take them with the spread, whether you're getting +1, +0.5, whatever. I'll have spread and money line most likely. I like the Mavs here in the first quarter, and I might end up on them full game as well. This is it's not necessarily a must-win spot, but I definitely think that they can beat the Nuggets. You can't let Jokic and Russell Westbrook go crazy on you like that. You already seen them. You have film on them. You're getting one of your best offensive players back. Let's hope he's not too rusty. Same arena. This is the Mavs' role underdog here, and I guarantee you they won't have a 12-point quarter this time around, man. So let's put the foot on their necks, Mavs, and keep it on their necks. I like the Mavs here in the first quarter. Revenge game J style.
All right. Elsewhere, I like Bucks Kings under. Here's the number. I've got obviously all this starts with my number that's built off of projection. Number in the market 233. I've got this all the way down at 224.5. So I'm like super comfortable with whatever this number is going to settle at. I'm not worried about where it's going to go. It's already moving down. It's 230.5 somewhere in the market. I'm going to be okay as long as you're above 227. Or 226, honestly. 227 I'm fine with. 226.5 I'm okay with because of where my number's at. Here's a stat for you. Bucks this season after a loss, they clamp down on defense. That's where their energy goes. Bucks home games off of a loss this season, 7-0 to the under.
Okay.
Straight 7-0. What's interesting here is that I think there's value on both sides of this because I've got this projected at this number, but that's honestly underrating the Kings defense because since Mike Brown got fired and Doug Christie took over, he started playing Keon Ellis. And Keon Ellis, even though I was like, come on, he's not going to make that big of a difference. Yeah, he's got the best on-court, off-court net rating on the Kings and a massive differential in defense. He is a dog on defense, and that's going to matter when guarding Dame Lillard and guarding Pat Connaughton and all these guys. The Kings defense has been better over the last 2 weeks. So my number has this under, and I think my number is behind because the Kings are way better on defense. And we have a Bucks team that obviously goes, like they clamp down on defense here. Here's another one. Of those 7 games, the Bucks team total under is 6-1 to the under on those games. So they clamp down on defense, which takes more of the energy away from their offense, and they don't score as much either. I mean, we're talking like massive differences here. It was like an average of like 7 points. They were beneath their projected team total. So I've got all those kind of factors involved, which is why I've got a same game parlay on this one as well. Bucks -2.5 because I do make the spread, and I do think the Kings are good, but I want the Bucks at home off of a loss. They've been playing better. I think this is a spot for them to get right. I'm trying to catch a falling knife a little bit with the Kings, and I accept that. Kings have been playing great. I get it. East Coast road trip. I want the Bucks here. Under 231.5, under 117.5 on the Bucks team total. That comes out to +375 or better. So Bucks team total under, but they're gonna cover, and the combined total under. Those three are +375. You can get that at DraftKings. What do you think, Jay?
I can't talk you off. One very important injury here, and that's Malik Monk with the possibly being out. He's questionable with a groin injury. Sometimes those can kind of be fickle little injuries, like with a soft tissue. You don't really want to play with that. So most of the time when you see a guy pop up with a hamstring or groin, I'd say 75% of the time they don't play in the game. Malik Monk has been inserted into the starting lineup. He's been going absolutely crazy, man. So he can't get 6 man into the year anymore, but like Malik Monk has been going crazy in the starting lineup, and he's kind of like a Jalen Johnson for the Hawks. Like when Malik Monk is not on the squad, they can have Fox, they can have everybody. I do not want the Kings without Malik Monk. If he's out, you can put me down for the Bucks. And like I say, that would make all of your plays a lot better as well, man. And shout out to Keon Ellis. They got rid of Davion Mitchell, and they got their second coming of Davion Mitchell in Keon Ellis over there, man. Great defensive guy, something you don't really see anymore in today's NBA. Guys literally taking pride on the defensive end. So if Malik Monk's out, I think you definitely hit that parlay. You hit all your plays.
Okay. Thunder Sixers. I'm going to lay the wood with the Thunder minus whatever. I don't care. OKC is such a wagon. I feel completely comfortable just kind of betting them against pretty much everybody. If I lose, I lose. There are spots that are good and bad, and I get that. But like, I make this 17. Embiid's still going to be out with a foot injury. Got zero reason to think that this is a problem. Sixers are 24% against the spread at home. The Thunder are 67% against the spread on the road. This is a simple cap, and I'm not trying to make it into something more than it's not. If this number, if I had this number within it, if I looked at everything and was like, okay, or if this was a real danger spot for the Thunder, fine. I can't find anything to talk me off of wanting to lay the points with the Thunder. The Thunder blow out everybody who is not elite. Like, you have to be elite to hang with this team. I'm comfortable dropping the 12.5 here, laying the wood. What do you think?
I can't talk you off. I'm not betting against the Thunder. I don't want to. This isn't the Wizards, so I don't necessarily. I mean, I do think the number is super high, to be honest with you. But Joel Embiid going full Ben Simmons on us, man. So obviously the Sixers are in a world of hurt right now. But Thunder land 12.5 on the road here. I'm not doing it, but I wouldn't bet against them. They do have the Cavs on deck, but I don't have much on this game.
I get it, and there is kind of this idea that you shouldn't lay this many points, but I'm just like, look, guys, this is the NBA. This is not NFL. We don't have key. Fiddle will tell you there are key numbers, and there are some based off of the research when we talk about like tight matchups, right? Like, I think that some of that data he's got is really interesting, and it makes for good discussion. But there's not like a difference here between 10 and 12 and 13 and 14 and 17, except for it's harder to do obviously all of these. But that's why I built a number. I have a number. It's 17. Feel confident with it. I'll lay the wood. I also, though, like the under in this game. Sixers offense continues to struggle with Paul George. He just can't score. He just can't shoot. He's not even scoring. He just can't shoot. He's cold, frozen,
old,
and he is old. He's old and cold, and full of mold. And the Thunder are going to attack him. Obviously, this is the best defensive team in the NBA by far. I was looking at some of the numbers today. Best opponent turnover percentage since 2012. Best opponent effective field goal percentage since 2018. Like, the numbers keep rolling off and off and off and off. This is not one of the all-time defensive teams because in this era, you can't have those kind of numbers to stack up. But if we adjust for era, this absolutely would be one of the best defenses that we've ever seen. Without Embiid, there's no matchup to really punish on the interior. Now, maybe Embiid plays. You know me on the show, I'm always like, don't bet the Sixers. You don't know what you're going to get. Embiid might get upgraded to questionable tomorrow and might play. Fine. I'll take the loss. I'm not playing a full unit on it. I'm only playing a half because of that element in particular. But I do think that they're going to hold the defense down. I also kind of like, so interesting thing, the one thing the Sixers do well is contain three-pointers. They're really good at actually contesting and guarding threes, especially spot-up ones. And that's a huge part of OKC's offense. So I like the underplay a lot here, and I'll put them together in the same game parlay as well. Thunder under 216.5 and Thunder minus 12. You can get that plus 268 at DraftKings.
You can't spell Thunder without the under.
Hey, that's why I have you on here, man. That's why I have you on here. I have one more for you. I was gonna bet Cavs minus 6.5 and give it out. I'm gonna bet it, but Jay's talked me off of it with the Pacers and the concern about how they match up. It's an interesting one. I do lean Cavs, so I'll have a bet on it in the app, but not giving it out as the best bet play on here. What I am giving out though is a parlay because people like to bet parlays, and I do think this one actually has value. Suns on the money line. This is a really good spot for them. The Hawks are 4-5 against the spread without Jalen Johnson. This opened Hawks -1 and immediately got hammered into Suns -1.5. If you get this and it's like 3.5, you can go ahead and walk away. But if this is under 3, I think you're still good on Phoenix. Suns money line, Bucks money line, Mavericks money line. Plus 761 if we hit those three. So that's going to be the parlay for tonight on buckets. Hope that cashes. Hope you guys enjoy it. Hope Mavericks first quarter gets home for Jay. Jay will be back with us on Wednesday night going into Thursday for best bets. Make sure to check out all the great content at actionnetwork.com. My thanks to David Payne for popping on unexpectedly, I might add, so that Jay can make his son's basketball practice, as well as Brady Rubino, Gifford Gould, taking care of us on the video side. Hit me up on Twitter at HB Basketball and let me know what you think of the bets. Have a great time. Let's cash. Till next time, let's get buckets.